Welcome back, it's Skytech-Lens. Today, we're diving into the turbulence shaking NATO, not from outside threats, but from Washington itself. The alliance's foundation is trembling, triggered by a seismic shift in American foreign policy. Former President Trump's demand for NATO members to spend 5% of their GDP on defense isn't just a number. It's a challenge to the post-war order. This is about more than budgets. It's about trust, reliability, and what it means to be an ally. The fallout is forcing nations to rethink decades-old strategies and alliances, from Switzerland's controversial fighter jet deal to Germany's new defense calculus. Even Canada is at a crossroads, questioning its deep-rooted defense relationship with the US. At the center of this drama, the F-35 Lightning II, a symbol of both Allied integration and growing dependency. One political demand has triggered a chain reaction that could redefine global security for generations. Buckle up. These are the key developments redefining NATO's future. For decades, NATO's strength was its promise: an attack on one is an attack on all, backed by US power. But that trust began to erode when Trump demanded not just 2, but 5% of GDP on defense, turning alliance into transaction. This wasn't a quiet negotiation. It came with threats of tariffs, especially targeting European industries like Germany's. Suddenly, security had a price tag, and unity began to fracture. Leaders who once spoke of shared destiny now calculated the cost of American friendship. Could Europe rely on the US guarantee if it depended on spending targets or presidential whims? For smaller nations, the idea that their security was a line item on a US balance sheet was chilling. The rhetoric of delinquent allies shifted the alliance from partnership to patronage, breeding suspicion and resentment. European leaders faced a dilemma: maintain ties with Washington or start planning for a future less reliant on the US. The 5% demand didn't just spur spending, it sparked a movement toward European strategic autonomy. NATO summits grew tense, with unity replaced by guarded statements and internal divisions. The alliance was being reshaped not by a foreign adversary, but by its own anchor. Trump's ultimatum forced Europe to confront a question it had long avoided: can it defend itself without America? The immediate effect was instability, but the long-term consequence was a seed of doubt about US reliability. That seed is now growing into a push for European independence in defense and industry. The old certainties are gone, replaced by a new, unpredictable reality. The 5% demand was more than a budget issue. It was a catalyst for change. Europe is now rethinking its place in the alliance, and the world is watching. The future of NATO hangs in the balance. Enter the F-35 Lightning II, once the ultimate symbol of Allied cooperation, now a source of dependency. Designed for seamless NATO integration, the F-35 was supposed to unify Western air power, but beneath the surface, it's a closed ecosystem controlled by the US. From software to logistics, owning the jet means relying on American support for upgrades, maintenance, and even basic operations. This dependency turns the F-35 into a tool of political leverage. If relations sour, access to updates or spare parts could be delayed, grounding entire fleets. The F-35's black box technology leaves allies flying blind, trusting the US will always act in their interest. This creates a two-tiered system: the US as architect, partners as high-paying subscribers. The jet's promise of unity now feels like a golden handcuff: advanced capability, but at the cost of sovereignty. Defense ministries across Europe are asking, is the F-35 a shield or a leash? The paradox is clear. Nations need cutting-edge tech, but the price is long-term dependence. The F-35 has become a symbol of the difficult choice between capability and autonomy. As US policy grows more transactional, the risks of this dependency become impossible to ignore. The F-35 story is no longer just about hardware, it's about power, trust, and the future of alliances. For Switzerland, Germany, and Canada, this dilemma is now front and center. The F-35 is forcing allies to confront the true cost of security. Switzerland, neutral for centuries, found itself in the crosshairs of America's new transactional approach. The decision to buy 36 F-35s was meant to be a straightforward upgrade, but quickly became a political minefield. Swiss officials felt pressured to sign fast, with US tariffs looming in the background. The message: cooperate on defense or face economic consequences. For a nation that values independence, this was deeply uncomfortable. Public backlash was swift. Opponents launched a referendum, arguing the F-35 would compromise Swiss neutrality. How can Switzerland stay neutral if its air force depends on US software and parts? Reports of cost overruns and rushed contracts fueled the controversy. The government bypassed the referendum, prioritizing the deal over public debate, sparking outrage. The F-35 became a symbol of eroding sovereignty and democratic process. Neutrality requires independence, but the F-35's US-controlled ecosystem is the opposite. Swiss pilots would fly jets whose brains are in Texas, a strategic vulnerability never faced before. The fallout shattered public trust, parliamentary inquiries, and a national identity crisis. Switzerland's F-35 saga is a warning. In today's world, even neutral countries can't escape the pull of US defense politics. The promise of security now comes with strings attached. The debate isn't over hardware, it's about sovereignty. Switzerland's experience is a case study in the cost of modern alliances. Germany, Europe's economic engine, faced a historic turning point. Long criticized for underspending, Germany was jolted by Trump's demands and threats to its auto industry. Chancellor Scholz's Zeitenwende marked a new era. Germany would boost defense and rethink its alliances. To satisfy NATO and maintain nuclear-sharing duties, Germany agreed to buy the F-35, a pragmatic move to stay in Washington's good graces. But that's only half the story. Simultaneously, Germany is investing billions in European-led projects like the Future Combat Air System, FCAS, and new Eurofighter Typhoons. This dual approach is a calculated hedge buy American for now, build European for tomorrow. The goal? Strategic autonomy. Europe as a creator, not just a customer of advanced defense tech. It's expensive and complex, but Berlin sees it as essential. Massive projects like FTAS are slow and politically fraught, but the push for European defense independence is gaining momentum. The EU is launching its own defense initiatives, aiming for a European pillar within NATO. Germany's model, balancing current obligations with future independence, could become the new template for major allies. The transactional US approach has made clear dependence is a vulnerability. The F-35 is a bridge to a future where European skies are protected by European jets. Germany is walking a tightrope, trying to be a good NATO ally, while preparing to stand alone if needed. This quiet revolution in defense policy is reshaping Europe's role in the alliance. The stakes have never been higher. Canada faces its own F-35 crossroads, torn between alliance loyalty and industrial survival. After years of political wrangling, Canada chose the F-35 for NORAD interoperability with the US, but Washington's transactional approach and trade threats have raised doubts in Ottawa. Can Canada count on the US long-term, or is doubling down on F-35 dependency a risk? The core concern is industrial. Canada's aerospace sector relies on defense contracts to thrive. Traditionally, big procurements came with guaranteed industrial benefits, jobs and investment at home. The F-35 program offers no such guarantees. Canadian firms must compete for contracts with no promises. A future America First policy could shut out Canadian industry, devastating a key sector. European alternatives like Sweden's Gripen offered firm industrial offsets and more control over tech. The choice isn't just about the best plane, it's about securing Canada's future. The military wants US interoperability. Industry leaders warn against sacrificing sovereignty. Canada must decide, stick with the F-35 and hope for the best, or pivot to a model prioritizing independence. This decision will define Canada's relationship with the US and its industrial destiny for decades. The F-35 is now a litmus test for national priorities, risk, trust, and identity. As Ottawa weighs its options, the world is watching. Canada's choice will signal whether American tech still outweighs the desire for sovereignty. So, where does this leave us? The F-35, once a symbol of unity, is now a catalyst for fragmentation. Its story is no longer just about stealth and speed, it's about sovereignty and shifting power. America's transactional turn transformed the F-35 from a collaborative project into a loyalty test. Nations now weigh the jet's capabilities against its political and industrial strings. In Europe, a new consensus is emerging. Self-reliance is essential. Germany's dual strategy, buy American, build European, reflects this new reality. For Switzerland and Canada, the dilemma is even sharper. Security versus sovereignty. The F-35 is more than a weapon. It's a referendum on a nation's place in the world. The era of alliances based on trust is fading, replaced by hard-nosed calculations. The F-35 offers power, but at a price measured in autonomy. To remain good allies, nations feel they must become more independent. The push for European autonomy and Canada's industrial debate aren't acts of disloyalty, they're rational responses to a changing world. The F-35's legacy is still being written. Will it hold the West together, or force allies to fly solo? Its story mirrors today's anxieties and ambitions, blurring the lines between friend, customer, and dependent. The pursuit of security has created new vulnerabilities, and nations are scrambling to adapt. The turbulence we've discussed isn't just at 30,000 feet, it's reshaping our world. The F-35 is more than a machine. It's a question about trust, sovereignty, and the price of security. Now it's your turn. Is Germany's dual strategy the future? Should Canada build its own aerospace industry? Has the F-35 become a diplomatic burden? Drop your thoughts below. Your insights fuel our next discussion. If you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss what's next. Every comment and share helps us bring you the stories that matter. We're building a community to understand the complex interplay of technology, politics, and power. Thanks for joining me. This is Skytech-Lens. See you in the next one.